My biggest challenge before coming to the mission was surrendering.
So, just go right into my story.
I grew up in California, born and raised, about 20 minutes from downtown LA.
Did you ever struggle with addiction at any time in your life, Charlie?
My whole life. They called it peer pressure back in the day. You know, everybody was doing it, kind of thing, and from junior high school to graduating, going to high school, you stepped into the bigger stuff. Once I got a hold of methamphetamine, that just took me over. I became a slave. I went to school for nursing, became a nurse, and that was my plan to do. But I fell back into addiction again. It was about 5 years ago before I moved out here. I know I was doing a lot of bad things for my whole life, and I needed to change. I had a friend that I grew up with back home, and he was living out here, and he changed his life. We were both in addiction and everything else. He came out here and had a new start. So he told me, bring a bag of clothes. I got a couch for you. You start your life out here again. So that was the beginning process of when I cashed out everything I had up back home, and I hopped on a bus and came out here. I went home to pay respects, and when I came back out here, this is where the little turn came. When I came up back home, I called my friend and I told him, hey, I'm in Atlanta. I'll be in Greenville in a couple hours. He said, well, you can't stay with me no more. So that's where the homeless part came into my play. I got a call back home that my sister had passed on. And this was right after my dad. And I was in a big mess. I was, high on the drugs and no money. So I'm going through the loss, and I'm high and everything else is going bad in my head. I called my mom again, I think it was like maybe 2-3 weeks later again, and find out that my uncle had passed away. I remember telling my mom, I was at the front porch at the place I was staying at. I said, Mom, I'm gonna call you back. And I just fell to my knees and I was asking God why, But at that point, I felt I was at my lowest, but of course, no. I kept digging. I was living out in Seneca during that tornado that hit a while back. It was a tornado that hit Seneca.
In South Carolina, one person has died after a suspected tornado touched down in Seneca overnight.
Images from upstate South Carolina show the destruction the area is coping with after a night of severe storms.
Yeah, that tornado hit our house directly and went through the whole mess. And in the morning, we saw the outside, how just the destruction, and there was a big giant tree laying in the front of our yard. I knew at that moment, God stepped in and probably saved a lot of us in that little four corner spot. But that's me in front of the roots of the base of the tree. That's how big that tree is.
Wow.
So, and I surrendered. I went to church the following week. I gave myself to the Lord and started my walk with God. I did a 30-day program in Walhalla, and the 30-day program was so quick, and they asked me, if you want to go to transition housing or what would you like to do? I was like, well, 35 years of addiction and 30 days of program. I need more program. And Joe Brooks was the gentleman that was my mentor or counselor, whatever you want to call him. And he said, I got the perfect place for you, which is Miracle Hill Overcomers. When I finally made the change to come out here, and then everything that was going on, to see that our logo, of someone keep getting back up, that's always been me. Every time I've been down, I've always gone back up, and I know that was him every time. Now I know that. Wherever God's gonna take me, He's gonna take me. So He has me in the perfect place right now. And I see that in my future also is working with folks in addiction.
Yeah.
So before coming to the Miracle Hill Overcomers, I was lost. And since I've been here at the Miracle Overcomers, I'm saved.